Is we're going to look at all of the bell work that we've done over the past week so that we can internalize it, be able to understand it, so that we'll be able to use it for our weekly assessment on Wednesday. So let's jump into it. All right. So here's a track we're going to use. All right. So let's take a look. So on Monday, opening exercise, look at the graphs and what do all the graphs have in common and which does not belong. Okay. So as we looked at all of these graphs, the one thing I was hoping that you guys would be able to share with me is the fact that you saw that none of them passed the vertical line test. Now, those that remember, vertical line test just simply means that if I take a vertical line and pass it through any relation, it becomes a function if that equation only touches that vertical line once. And as you can see, in every equation, they're only touching this green vertical line the one time. So, that was, pretty straightforward. That's what they all have in common. All right, now here's how they might be a little different. Okay, A represents an exponential function. So anytime we see this movement right here, where it's slowly increasing and then super fast, it slopes up. That's an exponential function. B represents a negative quadratic function, and C represents a positive quadratic function. Unless you see the direction they open up in. D is that V shape that you guys are familiar with. That represents an absolute value function. So real quick, if we had this V upside down, might it be positive or negative? What do you guys think? All right, let's move on. All right, on Tuesday, we had a slightly different question. I said, given a function of 3 times 2 minus x, parentheses, minus 2, tell me what the y-intercept is and what the slope was. Okay, so what I asked you guys to kind of think about is, first of all, why do the heavy lifting when you can put it in your calculator? Put this equation right into your y-editor. Upon putting in your y-editor, evaluate the xy table it produces. You guys are going to see that we're going to have values at 0 for x, and it's going to be a 4 for y. That would be what we would consider one of our intercepts. All right. So specifically, we had to find out when x is -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2, what if the value y is? And here they are. The next thing that I ask you guys to do is to tell me the intercepts. And very simply, your y-intercept is always going to be your coordinates that you get when 0 is your x value, and we're looking for 4. Let us consider our x-intercept. X-intercept, instead, we look for the number in the x column when our y is 0. Okay, so this could be, confusing for some people, because here the x is 0, so you might think it's x-intercept. Here the y is 0, so you might think this is the y-intercept, but it's just opposite. Let me make it easier. Think of it this way. If I go up over 0 and up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm on my y-axis. So because I'm on my y-axis, that's why we call it the y-intercept. Okay, if I go over 1.45 but up nothing, I'm still on my x-axis. Okay, all right, and so finally, we had to graph a line, and if I just order this forward, This should fit perfectly. All right, next question. All right, on day 17, I was asked, if I have this equation, x squared plus 2x minus 3 over a domain of -4 to +2, find my x and y intercepts, and let me know what y is when x is -2. Okay, we start by, again, putting that equation into our y editor and evaluating our xy table. What are the values for y when x is -2? Well, when x is -2, y is -3. Next, evaluate the graph and look at our y-intercept and our x-intercept. This is pretty nice. My x-intercept, we notice there's going to be two of them. So I'm actually crossing the x-axis twice. All right, and that's very common when I have functions of this nature. We call it quadratics. All right, we'll talk more about this obviously later, but typically a quadratic can have 2, 1, or none intercept. Okay, and our y-intercept is 0, -3. Okay, all right, let's continue. Finally, on Friday, Bellwork. What do you see? What do you notice? Well, you may or may not remember, but this is one of those exponential functions. So you could have answered any of the following ways. I noticed blank is an exponential function, or I just simply noticed that it starts and moves from left to right. I wonder, answers will vary. Okay, so this was a quick recap. I think that's all I got for you. This is a quick recap of our bell work for the week. All right, and Mr. McCrae always ends the same way. Pause this video, internalize the skill, and remember, 30 minutes of study a day keeps bad grades away. All right, be well.